I really like Jake a lot, but once he's in that ring, he has to fight like his life is dependent on it, because it will be.
When in your career are you going to actually fight a contender in your weight class and not do gimmick fights?
I mean, the skill level alone, now of course, there is a size difference, a height difference and all that, but he's just going to struggle so much landing a shot. It's just going to look bad.
In a startling development, boxing great Mike Tyson unexpectedly showed up at the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis's angry warning to the YouTuber-turned-boxer sent shockwaves across the room at his press conference. Tyson made it apparent that taking on a vicious fighter like Davis is no game when he warned Jake Paul to fight like your life relies on it.
If you saw Jake Paul's fat body videos and if you think he's taking his training seriously for you.
Listen, I think he's taking it very, very seriously because his health depends on it. And yeah, he's nobody I'm not looking past him. I'm taking him lightly at all.
The fight between Tank Davis and Jake Paul has evolved beyond a simple show. Officially, the exhibit is considered to be an exhibition, a term primarily motivated by worry about the stark disparity in size and weight between the two. For example, because of the discrepancy, the Florida Athletic Commission would not approve it as a professional fight. As per the currently established rules, both men will use 12 gloves during the 10 3-minute rounds of combat, and knockouts will be taken into account. Crucially, 2 human judges and 1 artificial intelligence judge, a recent addition intended to bring greater objectivity, will rate the verdict.
The Jake Paul versus Tank fight is getting really weird. Gervonta looks scared for his life because the rules are out. They're crazy. Oh, so everyone thought that the fight was at 190.
It was 190.
Instead it's at 195, and this weight difference is scaring the life out of little Tank.
Over 10 3-minute rounds.
I said it was 190.
The next dispute comes with the gloves. Little Tank is used to fighting in 8-ounce gloves. Baby glove. This fight will be in 12. Hands might be too small. Also, Tank just fought in a 12 3-minute round fight against Roach. Yes, and now he's fighting in 10 3-minute rounds, which isn't too bad. Well done, Jake. Exhibition though, can he win? Yes, he can actually win. It will be overlooked by 3 sanctioned judges. So he can actually still win and knock him out. But here's the trick. It's body punches only. And there's a reason. That's because Tank said, look, this is a bit unfair. I don't want to punch up. I want to punch at my head height. Where does it fall? At Jake Paul's belly. Oof. So apparently we've heard there's no knockdown rules, but aside from that, it's a pretty well-rounded fight. Oh yeah, and there's some drug testing involved. But Jake Paul for the win.
Although Davis has never formally competed over the lightweight limit of 135 pounds, reports now indicate that he has bulked up throughout camp and is strolling about closer to 160 pounds. Even though he is still below 160, this increase would put him closer to the catch weight decided upon for his exhibition fight against Jake Paul. The additional weight can increase his punch force and resistance, making him a more formidable and unpredictable foe.
Gervonta Tank Davis, is my prediction that Gervonta Tank Davis is going to weigh in on the night of the fight against Jake Paul, knocking on 160 pounds. Don't be surprised if he's 157 pounds, something like that. You guys see this footage? Look at Tank. Now, if you know what you're looking at, the guy must be around 150 right now, 153, something like that. And you can really tell when he's sideways. When you look at him sideways and see the depth. See, from the front view, you can't really tell. But when he turns sideways, the guy is a wrecking ball. He's literally a baby rhino out there. And I think that is the idea for him to bulk up and be a little powerhouse out there. And I'm all for it. I'm going to tell you in this video why I think that's the best thing for Tank and why I think he will be knocking on 160 pounds.
Gervonta Tank Davis, in Teddy Atlas' opinion, is the closest thing boxing has to a fully realized boxer at the moment. He commends Tank not just for his devastating power and finishing prowess, but also for his ability to set traps, control distance, counterpunch, and maintain mental toughness in the ring. Davis is viewed by Atlas as thoughtful, patient when necessary, and always planning forward rather than just using force. According to him, Davis is the only boxer among the top lightweights with all the equipment needed to possibly defeat a fighter like Jake Paul, whose style is evolving, but whose record does not yet demonstrate elite technical proficiency.
The only other time he was in, for the fans to get mad with that, was against Fury's Tommy Fury, but it wasn't that level, obviously, and all the size things you just rightfully pointed out. But he would have been in there with, I mean, it seemed crazy. You're going to go in there with a guy who was a 2-time heavyweight champ and a gold medalist? Wow. Even though the guy's, at a twilight part of his career, still.
And you've given a lot of credit and props to Jake Paul on this show of helping get more eyeballs to the sport, but the way he takes it serious and goes about his approach and his work to this craft, that he does take it seriously. With that being said, when he announces Tank Davis, I'm getting tired of these gimmick fights and him loading the deck up. Whether it was Chavez Jr. or an old Mike Tyson, or we could go on and on with some of the UFC guys and the great Anderson Silva at 46 years of age. Tank Davis, great fighter, current fighter, world champion. We know how good he is. Been a top 10 pound for pound guy for you for the last few years now. But he's 5'5" and 135 pounds. This sounds like it would be a 195 pound fight, an exhibition. Wouldn't count on their records. Not a whole lot of other details other than it will be in November, and it sounds like in Atlanta. But I've said enough. I just want to hear your take. What do you make of this news, Jake Paul and Tank Davis?
But, and I'm smiling a little bit. But back in the day, I love the 1800s, 1700s, my friend out there, 1700s, whatever. But I love the old time fighters. They were catchweights. And there was guys like Sam Langford. I know Sam Langford shouldn't even be comparing him with this.
Former super middleweight champion Carl Froch cautioned that Paul's size and unusual power pose a real threat to Davis, who won't be accustomed to being struck like that despite his superior abilities and new, bulked-up physique. The general uneasiness in boxing circles is reflected in Froch's worries. This fight is viewed more as a freak show with validity and fighter safety in doubt than as a competitive match.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Viva, España, and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think. But the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf, and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
Froch has warned about the potential safety hazards of the upcoming Paul versus Davis match on ISA Exhibition, pointing out a weight disparity of around 65 pounds.
My name was mentioned at his press conference and he shit himself, and the fight was just absolutely fucking diabolical. Again, I've said before, he's not a professional boxer, he never will be, and he proved time and time again that he's not a professional fighter. So Jake Paul, go on, piss off.
I mean, I don't really take Jake Paul that serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. He swings away, stands up straight, and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he's just so much wrong. It's just, everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him in with someone his own size, it was a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him, he's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level, and then from British title to world level, it's like different worlds. It's like totally different. It's like a different.
The subject of whether Jake Paul is truly prepared to take on actual top 15 or top 20 fighters has been brought up by commentators following his convincing victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Even if Emiliano Vargas has expressed his opinion that Paul no longer merits such bouts, a large portion of the boxing community is still wary. For instance, Eddie Hearn has maintained that although if Paul is making progress and could eventually receive a ranking similar to that of the WBC, there are still many of more seasoned, successful fighters who should be ranked higher than him. The argument highlights the conflict between Paul's growing popularity and whether or not his previous opponents have really put him to the test in boxing at the highest level.
Any of them hurt you? I just think Chavez didn't get started. That's the only thing. I mean, you can't win.
I want to be world champion. Zerto looks slow as shit tonight.
You can't win if you don't throw, you know, so it was kind of like the Ryan Garcia Rollies thing. You know, Rollies didn't, I mean, Ryan really didn't get started, so, you know.
What did you think about how Jake looked and then fought?
And you know what?
You're very tough.
If he sucked ass, he sucked ass, but he actually looks pretty good. There's people who walk into the gym, you can tell right away if they can box or not, so. He can box, he's selling out, you know, obviously this arena, and the only thing I can do is take a page out of his book and, you know, put it towards my showmanship, so.
You think he's ready for someone like top 15, top 20?
I mean, look, you know, he knows who to fight. Obviously, he's, you know, growing in his career. If he really wants to make a career, I wish him nothing but the best. But I just think that, you know, it's going to be a little longer until then.
Thank you, I mean, appreciate it. Oh, give us an update about you. You got a date coming up.
July 26th, Madison Square Garden. I'm ripped up. I'm ready to go. Ran with Manny Pacquiao yesterday, and you know, 15-0 on the way. Let's go, baby.
Thank you, I mean, appreciate it, man.
My brother, appreciate it.
The concept of Jake Paul receiving a WBC ranking, however, has drawn harsh criticism from a number of seasoned fighters and purists who claim it might undermine all the sport stands for. One of the most outspoken critics has been veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora. He contends that years of dedication, solid records, and victories over respectable opponents are how legitimate fighters obtain their ranks. Giving Paul a slot just for publicity or marketing purposes, in Chisora's opinion, is unjust to warriors who have fought and bled for theirs.
The WBC have said they're going to give a cruiserweight ranking to the winner of this fight. Do you think they deserve one?
No, I don't think so. I don't know why. It's hard enough for real athletes, for real boxers to get those rankings, and then suddenly this Solomon Sousa decides to give double ranking because he's getting some greens in his, you know, in his back pocket. No, that is disgrace to boxing.
Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith emphasized how striking the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight's height and pedigree difference is. Smith questioned whether promoting such mismatched high-profile events does more harm than good for boxing, warning that spectacles like this run the risk of turning the sport into mere entertainment rather than genuine competition. Even though Jake typically weighs more than 200 pounds and Davis is a lightweight champion with a significant difference that is noticeable to fans and critics.
I can't buy the hype at this particular moment in time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane, it's hard to me believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really, really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you, and you want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer / fighter, you're going to have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody? Pretty please with sugar on top.